You did not click on this video by accident, because for the past few days, maybe even weeks, there has been a strange feeling inside you that you cannot fully explain. A memory that keeps returning, a name that suddenly crosses your mind at random moments, a connection you try to release, but somehow it never fully released you. And now you are wondering one question: was it really over? Or is God quietly restoring what you thought was lost? Because something is changing, not loudly, not dramatically, quietly. And that is what makes this moment so dangerous to ignore. Before we go deeper, I want you to do something prophetic right now. Comment these words below: God restores. Type it with expectation, because I believe this message is going to confirm something your spirit has already been feeling. And if you are new here, subscribe to this channel right now, not because of me, but because God has been using this space to prepare people emotionally, spiritually, and relationally for the connections He is restoring in this season. There is a reason you were led here today, and in a few moments, you may finally understand why. Because what looked dead was not dead. What looked delayed was being protected. And the person you thought disappeared forever may have been going through a transformation you were never meant to witness. But here's the part nobody talks about. When God restores something, it rarely returns in the same condition it left. That's why this next season may shock you, because the person coming back into your life may not resemble the version you cried over. And honestly, neither do you. Isaiah 43:19 says, "See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it?" Notice what God said. A new thing, not an old thing repeated, not a recycled story. A new thing, and that changes everything. Because some of you thought restoration meant going backward, but God does not restore people by rewinding them. He restores them by rebuilding them. And lately, God has been rebuilding someone connected to your destiny. That explains the silence. That explains the distance. That explains why communication suddenly broke. Because while you were grieving the loss, God was confronting things inside them that could have destroyed the future connection completely. You thought they forgot you. But what if heaven temporarily removed access because their heart was not ready yet? Think about that. What if the separation was mercy? What if God was protecting you from a version of them that was emotionally immature, spiritually unstable, or deeply wounded? Because sometimes the greatest act of love God can perform is distance, not denial, distance. And this is where many people lost hope, because once time passed, you assumed the story ended. You started teaching yourself how to stop expecting. You convinced yourself to move on emotionally. You tried to silence the hope. But every time you truly tried to release it, something inside you resisted. Not obsession, discernment. There's a difference. And somebody listening right now knows exactly what I mean, because no matter how many distractions came, that connection never fully disappeared from your spirit. You kept asking God why. Why can I not completely disconnect? Why does this person keep returning to my thoughts during prayer? Why do I feel like something unfinished still exists between us? And tonight, you may be finally receiving the answer. Because restoration often begins invisibly before it becomes visible. God starts changing hearts in private long before He changes circumstances publicly. That means while you were waiting, God was working. Romans 8:28 says, "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him." Not some things, all things, even heartbreak, even confusion, even silence. even separation. God knows how to use painful seasons as preparation rooms, and some of you have no idea how much emotional healing God forced into this connection while nobody was watching. But let me tell you something even deeper. The restoration is not only about them, it's also about you. Because if they returned too early, you would have accepted less than what God actually planned. You would have tolerated inconsistency, mixed signals, half love, emotional confusion. But God refused to let your future be built on instability. So while He was changing them, He was also changing you, building your standards, strengthening your discernment, teaching you to stop chasing people who were not emotionally available. And now you're entering a completely different season spiritually. You can feel it. The emotional exhaustion is lifting. The constant anxiety is fading. Your spirit is becoming calmer. And strangely, right when you stopped forcing everything, something started moving again. But be careful, because the next part is where many people misunderstand what God is doing. Restoration doesn't always begin with a dramatic confession. Sometimes it begins subtly. A message, a dream, a sudden conversation, an unexpected reconnection, a shift in energy you can't explain. Small movements, quiet signs. And if you're not spiritually alert, you may miss what God is rebuilding right in front of you. That's why I need you to stay with me until the end of this message, because there is one specific sign God often reveals right before a divinely restored connection reappears, and most people overlook it completely. But once you see it, everything starts making sense. And before we continue, if this message is speaking directly to your spirit, comment, "I still believe." That comment isn't random, it's an act of faith. And also, take a moment to like this video, because every interaction helps this message reach someone who is secretly losing hope tonight. There's also a powerful playlist waiting for you in the description below that will help you discern the season God is bringing you into emotionally and spiritually, because what happens next may be closer than you think. There's a reason your spirit has been restless lately, not fearful, not broken, restless, because deep down you can feel that a cycle is ending. And when heaven begins restoring what was lost, there's usually a moment right before it happens where everything feels strangely quiet, almost too quiet. That silence confuses people because they assume silence means nothing is happening. But spiritually, silence often means movement is happening beyond your visibility. And that's exactly where many of you are right now. You've been praying for clarity, praying for peace, praying for confirmation. Meanwhile, God has been orchestrating conversations, convictions, realizations, and emotional awakenings behind the scenes, especially in the heart of the person connected to this restoration, because there are things they are finally starting to understand, things they ignored before, things they took for granted before. And one of the hardest realities they are now facing is the realization that losing you changed them, not temporarily, deeply. That connection did not leave their life without leaving a mark. And lately, they have been feeling it more than ever. That sudden wave of memory, the emotional pull they can't explain, the moments they randomly stop and think about you, the guilt, the regret, the curiosity, the questions, all of it has been increasing, not because of manipulation, not because of coincidence, because God knows how to awaken what people buried emotionally. Song of Solomon 3:4 says, "I have found the one whom my soul loves." Notice the depth of that verse. Not attraction, not convenience, soul recognition. And some connections carry a depth that time alone cannot erase. That's why this season feels different, because this is not just about romance, it's about alignment. God is restoring things that carry purpose. But listen carefully, restoration doesn't mean every old door should reopen. And this is the part I need you to hear clearly. Some of you have been asking God for restoration while secretly remaining emotionally attached to dysfunction. That's dangerous because God restores with wisdom, not desperation. The restored version of this connection must carry peace, honesty, emotional maturity, and spiritual clarity. Otherwise, it's not restoration, it's repetition. And God is not bringing you backward into cycles He already delivered you from. That's why the transformation matters so much, because the person returning cannot come back with the same pride, the same confusion, the same inconsistency. Something inside them had to break first, and honestly, something inside you had to heal too. That healing changed your spiritual eyes. You no longer crave temporary attention. You no longer romanticize confusion. You no longer beg for clarity from emotionally unavailable people. And that growth is exactly why you are now prepared for what is coming.